And David, today we are talking about a very topical issue that has dominated the airwaves from yesterday. President Mahama, as we see on my screen, has appointed 18 deputy heads of missions to various countries, and there's been a lot of talkability, particularly about a certain name I'll mention for you. The former CD, General Thomas Opon-Pepra. Some persons within the MPP believes that he shouldn't take the appointment. We will analyze it. I'll give you a bit of context, a bit of background. President Mahama in his 120-day social contract also says something, that he will govern Ghana with the leanest government. I also analyze that for you, but let's go through the list. President Mahama has appointed 18 deputy heads of mission. When you come to the screen and look at the list, number one, we have Dr. Palmer Piajan, who will be the deputy head of mission for the Republic of Germany. We have Francisca Patois Jakun, who will be the deputy head of mission for the Strait Federation. We have Ben Dochimalo, who served as the communications lead at the presidency before, worked at the UN, worked at the BBC as the deputy head of mission for the US. We have Dr. Harry Zevon as the deputy head of the Republic of China. Then General Thomas Opon-Pepra. For a bit of context, he is the first four-star general we've had in contemporary times. We know that the Free Fair and also Ike Champon, my favorite Ghanaian president, head of state, also had four-star general, but they were military juntas. But when they are talking about the proper creation of, or the proper promotion to a four-star general in contemporary times, that is the former or the immediate past CD, General Thomas Opon-Pepra, who has been appointed as the deputy head of mission for Canada. That name has brought a lot of talkability about it, but let's go on. I'll come to the names of the other people shortly. This is General Thomas Opon-Pepra, the immediate past CDS under President Akufo-Addo. Now, for some members of the MPP, they feel this move feels like a betrayal. They believe that he accepting a diplomatic role under the NDC is disloyal to the party MPP and to the president who made him CDS. But here's the big question. Since when did serving Ghana become partisan? Because in my view, a distinguished military officer like General Thomas Opon-Pepra, who rose through the ranks under various military regimes, under various governments, reaching the peak of his career under the MPP, why will he suddenly become disloyal for accepting a national duty under another government? For me, that logic doesn't apply, and I don't get why people are making that argument. Now, going on, let's take a step back and remember some of the context that I wanted to build for you. Why I believe this is not new. When you look at Ghana's democracy, in 2001, President Kufuor appointed John Rawlins's CDS, then Major General Bernard Akafia, as Ghana's ambassador to Egypt. There's a bit of context. Let's stay there. When you go to read this book by Professor Jimamba Fodua, who wrote about Champon later, it's called The Ghanaian Odyssey. In that book, he detailed the life and the times of General Ben Akafua. In the 2000 election, remember Ghana went to a runoff. In the first round, President Kufuor garnered some 49%, Prof. Mills gathered 44%. It is believed that at Burma camp, there were some senior military officers who wanted to occasion a coup and force President Rawlings to declare a state of emergency so that there will not be any runoff for the election because the MPP was winning. And that was the first time President Rawlings was turning power to another government after almost 20 years, being a military ruler and also the first democratic ruler in the Fourth Republican dispensation. This CDS, when the meeting was happening at the Burma camp, entered the sitting room, saw the faces of the people plotting the coup, and said to them that this coup will not happen under my tenure as CDS. So General Akafua fought that coup, and that was why President Kufuor rewarded this loyalty, though a CDS to Rawlings. And if you know the context of Ghana's democracy, for someone who served as a CDS to Professor Rawlings, yes, to be appointed by another government of Kufuor, that tells you that he clearly demonstrated some leadership when you read this book of the Ghanaian Odyssey. That's not the only one. President John Mahama appointed General Aka as the Chief of Army Staff. In 2017, when President Akufo-Addo came, he made him the Chief of Defense Staff. So it's not the first time this has happened. Let's talk about contemporary times for the Gen Zs. When you read about the life of the COP, George Akufo-Dampra, the immediate past IGP, when he was sent to the Atachia Committee, he confessed that indeed he served as ADC, the aide de camp, to Prof. Mills when he was the vice president. He will later be appointed as the IGP under an MPP regime. So the examples are bound. So I see nothing wrong with a four-star general serving as a CDS under the MPP, taking another appointment under an NDC regime. If in fact you read his CV from 1986 when he joined the Ghana Armed Forces, he served under various military rules, various democratic regimes, and I believe it is an order if he so wished to serve. But another context of this debate is about the size of the government. 18 deputy heads of mission. Do we really need these lot of people there? In fact, another example before I go on, President Akufo appointed a CDS. He later became a chief of armed staff, and President Mahama made him the chief of armed staff under his regime. A CDS to Akufo, a chief of army staff under President Mahama. So that also tells you that there's a bit of contest there. Now let's go to the argument about the lean government. When you read the 120-day promise of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the point 2 says, constitute the leanest and most efficient government under the Fourth Republic in the first 90 days in office. Now, the argument is that why are we appointing 18 people when we have deputy ambassadors, when we have head of chancelleries and all that? Do we really need these people to serve in these regimes? Do we really need all these people to serve, especially at a time where we need to cut budget expenditure, especially at a time where we need a lot of money to be able to do a lot of things? I believe that it's a checkered conversation. Yes, some of them are experienced. Ghana will relish their expertise in various fields and all that, but I also believe that we need to balance these appointments together with the exchequer of the country. Can we really fund them? Because this will come with salaries. This will come with funding their educations for their dependents, their wives, their children. They will be schooling in different countries. We need to pay for all that. Can we really afford it? So for me, that is where the conversation should be. And that is where we need to remind His Excellency John Dramani Mahama about the promise in his 120-day social contract to the people, that he will run his government with the leanest or the most smallest number of appointments we've had in the Fourth Republican dispensation. So basically, this is about it today on the breakdown. My name is Eugene Osei-Tutu. There will be more exciting conversation on radio next Monday. Thank you for watching.